everybody, excuse me, welcome back to day 15 of the Summer Craft Challenge. We are halfway through our 30 prompts for the month of July, and today's prompt is multi-photos. So I'm going to be using a lot of them, as you can see. I have them in the traditional 4x6, and then I used the Project Life app and manipulated the photos so that I could put 2x2 squares on a 4x6 template. And so then I will have 6 2x2 photos. So I am going to end up getting 11, I think, hold on, 11, yes, photos on this layout. So I think that qualifies as a multi-photo. As you can see, in order to get the layout design that I want, I am going to have this be a double-paged layout. Not something that I typically do for no other reason than, I usually just don't have that many photos to document the story. So I am doing tricks that we all know to do when we are doing a double page spread, and that is to overlap that seam. So I have chosen my pattern papers, and I'm putting that yellow off to the side so that you can see where the edge of the paper is, but I don't plan on putting that yellow paper there. Excuse me, a frog in my throat this morning. These photos are from our recent trip to California, and we were taking some time between our tour of Hearst Castle, and we had an hour or two before our tour started, and the people at the Hearst Castle information desk said, "Why don't you guys go see the sea lions? They're just down the road." And so we did, and they were magnificent. It was so cool. I live here in Michigan, and sea lions are not something that you see every day. So we had a really good time. They were very lethargic because they were in their molting season. And so they were lounging around. Sometimes they would get up and chat, like you see in the photo that I'm putting down right now, with each other. But yeah, they were just little bumps on logs or little bumps on the sand, and oh, they were just so cute. Too cute. So I had to get an idea, because I am not used to using so many photos, I kind of laid this out in my mind, and then I took a picture, not of my mind, I then actually laid it out and took a picture of the design. So I'm actually referring to the picture on my phone that I used originally to put this on. So I wanted to use this paper, and in my traveling, some of them got a little banged up. So I'm actually doing quite a bit of these process videos on vacation. And so I had to kind of pack up my scrap room and do some mobile some mobile scrapping, because it was crazy. Or it has been crazy, but it's been fun. So my friends never believed, the ladies that I crop with a couple times a month did not believe that I was going to be able to do this. They said, "Sarah, you have done one process video in your entire, crafting career. How in the world are you going to now do 30? And I'm like, you guys, I'm going to do it." And so for my group that said I wouldn't do it, and then they said they thought once I got it in my head that I was going to do it, that there was going to be no stopping me. So I am proud to say that I'm halfway through, and it's gotten easier. I don't know that they're excuse me, easier for you guys to watch. Obviously, when you are doing the amount that I am doing, it doesn't leave you much time for working out the kinks, but I feel like every day that I upload another video, I've kind of figured something else out. And so I'm excited for the things that I am going to have on my YouTube channel starting in August. My idea is that I would like to have at least 2 new videos, hopefully 3, up every week. And it was really because of this little challenge that helped me, break out of my comfort zone and do this. Sorry if you guys heard something in the background. That was my microphone moving. So I have this newsletter that was in a little holder at this beach. And I decided that I'm going to use, excuse me, I'm going to put that as an insert in the page protector. So there will be a 12 by 12 layout. There will be then an insert that will hold that flyer or newsletter, as well as probably my journaling. And then it will be the other half of the 12 by 12. So it'll go right there in the center. I don't know if you noticed, but that photo that is on the lower right corner, I did layer some pattern paper, very subtle pattern paper behind it. And then I decided to mount it with some foam tape. So off camera, I needed to monkey around with how I was going to do this. And now you can see. So I'm kind of freehand cutting some waves. And I wanted to add some more to this layout without adding just more stuff. And so I thought these little details of waves that were just hand cut would work nicely. So I did 2 layers. I used the I'm calling it the positive and the negative of the design. And I'm going to layer them on top of each other. And the top layer, I will put some pieces of foam tape behind it to give it a little bit of lift. So this is a super, super old paper from my stash. And I don't know if you can tell, but there is text. It's tone on tone, blue. Text with the alphabet on it. So very subtle, doesn't play part of the elephant seal theme. Now I'm going to monkey around with this for a little bit, and I apologize that I don't cut it out. I didn't realize how much I was going to fuss with it until I was almost done, and then realized the camera was still rolling. But because of how I trimmed the paper, when I lay the top layer on, sorry, I'm being shown something, you can see the gap where the paper is below, right there in the center, right where my hand is. And so that's going to drive me crazy. And I'm going to try to get it so that it doesn't show, but then too much of the border below shows, and I don't like that. So, to make it easy on myself, I'm going to adhere it all down before I pull it all back up. But I finally realized just bite the bullet and fix it the way you want. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm just going to scooch it down just a wee bit to help alleviate that little gap. And again, you probably can't even see it on camera, but in person it was a glaring gap. So just inking the edges like I usually do, and through the magic of editing, you will see that my waves have now ended up in 3 spots. And this is definitely the design that I had in my head. I had pulled a lot of pattern papers to complement that stripe that I'm using. And I don't end up using them all. I don't even know that I use half of them. But I'm going to audition different papers out to see if I want to add more. And the reality is I just loved these photos. They were just fun, up close. Some were obviously at a distance. I believe that they all showed, together. They showed what we did that day, which is we drove to the ocean. We saw beautiful seals and elephant seals rather, and waves crashing into the rocks. So at this point, I hadn't really confirmed in my head that I was going to put the journaling in that insert. And so there is this die cut that I pulled from my stash that says, it was a little checkbox. Today was, and then there was 6 options you could select. And then I was going to select whatever, one of them was, and then write my journaling there. But I really have more to say because while this was an impromptu little excursion between, something else that we had planned to do, this ended up being a highlight for me on the trip. And again, it was just a beautiful day, and we were all together as a family. This was our spring break / family moon. And so it was special. So, but I keep that card over there for a little while until it really hits me that no, that's just not going to work. I found this sticker, and I was going to, and I keep that there for a little bit, just to draw more attention to that photo of my husband and my daughter. And then I'm going to go through all the little embellishments that I had pulled out ahead of time that I thought could work. And I'm going to start layering them up in little clusters. So what will end up happening is where that Good Times die cut is up there in the upper right, that will be a cluster. Where I have, well, I'm actually covering it right now with that sticker sheet, where that little camera is on the other half of that Good Times die cut will be a cluster. And then to the left of that bottom photo will be a cluster. So here's where I decide, nah, that sticker is just, that's not going to work. And it was too close to the bottom, and I don't have that much space down there between the edge of the layout and the photo to begin with, and so I just forgot. I just stopped moving towards that. So I'm pulling out little words that go along with the theme of the day, which, as you can see, is good times for sure. And I'm just trying to make sure that I'm spreading those colors out in those clusters. And these are some little gray word phrase and phrase stickers from Allie Edwards. They were from her Change Stories by the Month kit with the theme of change. And so some of them did not work, but I loved the gray color. It was soft with a white lettering. So I do end up making them work, and I'm able to put one in each of the 3 clusters. So this is, I really like how this little area turned out. I didn't feel like I was impeding on the photos by overlapping the embellishments there, because it was the back of one of the elephant seals and then bushes in the other photo. So I felt like it was okay. So at this point, this is where I take that die cut out, as you can see, and I'm showing you that this is how I'm going to insert that page. And I know now that I need a splash of red in each of those clusters. And the little orange label sticker that I put down says take a picture. And I'm going to anchor it down with one of these labels that I have had in my stash probably since I started scrapbooking in '98. And they're like the embellishment that, you know, that continues on. I can't get them to stop, but I love them. So here's where I'm just making sure that I have 3 pops of that red color in each of my clusters. And this is where I find another, a couple of the gray stickers as well that will go. And the embellishments are really kept to a minimum because there is a lot going on with those photos. There's a lot to take in and a lot to look at. That little sticker that I am forcing in, which is going to make me tear everything up and have to redo this area, ends up, I don't even think, going down in that cluster. But it was the word fascination. I'm seeing how I rip my paper. It was the word fascination, and that was a word that I used the entire time we were there watching the elephant seals. I'm like, this is fascinating. And so while nobody else in the world would know, looking through my scrapbook pages, you know, why I had to have that word on there, but I did because it worked. And I know. So I work it in there. And then off camera, I am going to put my title together. When you are doing a double page spread, it's hard with space. So to lay everything out, I'm just going through the options that I included in my little page kit. And my title is going to, it's kind of going to be, I believe it's going to be those 2 fonts. So it's going to be Bella Boulevard Puffy Stickers, and I believe an Echo Park dark wood grain letter. And I know the wood grain really doesn't go. You can't see the wood grain really in the actual sticker, but there is a dark brown stripe in that striped pattern paper that I am using. So off in that area where I'm playing right now, it just felt super bare. And I thought if I could just bring a little bit of color over in that corner, that would really help. And so that's why those labels are there now that I punched out. And they are going to go there. I'm going to ink the edges and monkey around with the placement, but that's pretty much where they're going to stay. So here is my title, Time with the Elephant Seals. And it was a very good time. I was really bummed as we got closer to our tour time. I said, this doesn't even give us a chance to stay here longer. But the tour of Hearst Castle was lovely too. So I'm just going to stack the title right on top of each other. And that little shelf over there makes it a nice place to put everything. And so then after this, I believe the only thing I'm going to add to the layout are some light blue enamel dots. As I said, my journaling is going to go into that insert with that little newsletter. And I really like it because the newsletter shows every month of the year what is happening with the elephant seals. And so I'll make sure that I highlight on that newsletter the time of year we were there, which was late March, early April. and it talks about the elephant seals molting. So that's perfect. So you'll see me pull out my enamel dot after I go through that again. You'll see me pull out my enamel dot and binder to pick some colors. Right here I'm just flipping through my little notebook where I wrote down the day we went, and I will stick that in the upper right corner by those little labels, punches. And then, with the exception of those enamel dots, oh, one thing I have been doing is through this vacation album, I have been using these Technique Tuesday stamps that have the day of the week in a little circle. And so I've been making sure that that stamp appears on each of my layouts. And I really like that, because I don't have a true theme of color throughout the book, so I'm trying to do little things that, let you know. So I'm going to use some light blue enamel dots. I'm going to place them in the 3 clusters that I have there on the double page layout. And then I will call this layout finished. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. This is obviously something very new for me, but I've had a fun time. It has certainly made me look at my supplies, techniques, and opportunities to do things new and outside of my normal. And so I'm excited for what future projects hold, and I hope you are too. So thank you for stopping in. If you have not already, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button and that little bell that will notify you when I have uploaded a new video. And stay tuned for tomorrow for day 16. Thank you so much, you guys, for stopping in, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye.